Hello, and welcome to my review of New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter. Now, when this set originally came out, I mainly got it for the minifigures because they look pretty good. And I wasn't too excited about the builds when I initially got it, but, well, let's see if my opinions have changed. So, let's get right into the build. This is set number 75364. It released in 2023. It has not retired yet. It has 1,036 pieces and retails for $110. Now, the building process was really fun for both of these ships. It went from the E-Wing, which was a very Technic-focused build, to Shin Hati Starfighter, which is an almost entirely brick build. So it was nice to get that variety in the two different types of builds. But now let's move on to the minifigures. So the first minifigure for this set is Captain Porter, who I didn't know this was a named minifigure until I double checked while writing the script for this video. But apparently this is the guy that was flying next to Sabine in the first episode of Ahsoka. I just thought this was supposed to be a generic Resistance pilot. But anyway, so this is Captain Porter. And it's good printing, especially on the torso. I don't know if this is standard because I don't have many of the newer pilot figures, but I like how the torso is molded in white to represent the vest, and then the legs and arms are molded in blue. I think it gives good contrast. And great color combo with the helmet with the gold and the dark blue. It's a very beautiful helmet. The facial expression is a bit weird on the back. Now, this one is good. This is a very good facial expression, but then it has an alternate, which I will turn here. And it even comes with a hairpiece to represent when he has the helmet off, which I do very much like. But this facial expression, just something seems off about it. It's like the eyes are squinting. That's a very weird facial expression, but I like that he has the version without the helmet, which is a nice touch. The hairpiece is pretty interesting too. It's very like bumpy on the top, but then like the sides and the back are perfectly smooth, which is kind of interesting. And it's hard to see when it's on the figure, but if I can get it off, it comes down to a point there. This is a very unique head mold or hair mold. I've never seen one quite like this. But overall, pretty good figure. I like the detailing of having different expressions for the helmet and without the helmet. Now, next up, we have New Republic Astromech. Now, I checked, and this one does not have a name. This is just generic New Republic Astromech. And this is by far the worst minifigure in the entire lot, for sure. It's the color combo just does not work as well with the blue and the like bright yellow. It doesn't work as well in the Astromech. The body is okay, but the arms, or I guess the legs, it doesn't work well. And the head mold, the head printing especially, is just terrible. I couldn't even tell where its eyes were at first when I was building it. And then all around, it's got this like unique sort of checkered pattern, but it's just not the best. This is honestly the worst Lego Astromech that I've personally seen. Definitely the worst in my collection. Yeah, this is just not a good figure, not at all, and it's not even accurate to the source material. In the Ahsoka show, it was like a white droid with green highlights, which looked much better. So I don't know why we got this piece of junk. Honestly, bad figure. Next up, we have Morgan Elsbeth, and this is a pretty good figure, a very unique one. That's for sure. All of these parts are unique to her, except maybe the skirt. But I like that it's kind of hard to see on camera, but the skin tone of the head and the hands is just ever so slightly different from a normal figure to show her different skin color as being a Dathomirian. It looks really nice, honestly. It's very subtle too. And then the printing on the torso is really good. That is just excellent printing with all the robes and the lines in the clothing, very beautiful. The back of the printing is pretty good, not as good, but it's the back. It doesn't need to be as good. And then that brings me to this hair piece. The molding on this hair piece is extremely unique and extremely beautiful. I hope they make this piece in more colors for like maybe Lego City figures, because it is a very beautiful piece. And there's a lovely detail. The printing on the head has a little tattoo that she has. And then on the back, she also has a dual expression. Every figure, except for the astromech in this set, has dual expressions. With a more angry expression when she's fighting, although they don't include a weapon for her in this set, which is a little weird considering she uses multiple weapons throughout The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, but it's whatever. Now, the main complaint I have with this figure is that there's no printing on that front skirt. Oh, it is a lovely piece to represent the skirt with the curve in the back, but no printing at all on the front is just kind of a letdown. But overall, aside from that one hiccup, it is a very good and very unique figure. Next up, we have the two main draws for this set, Balin Skull and Shin Hati. So first off is Balin Skull, and I'm very conflicted on this figure. Great printing. The face captures his expression very well, although it isn't a unique facial expression for minifigures. It would have been nice to get a unique one, but this one does work very well, so I can see why they reused it. The printing on the legs and the torso, even on the back, is very good. With the subtle green highlights, it works very well. One nice detail is those arms are metallic dark gray, I believe it's called. And those look really nice with metallic arms. They look amazing. This is the first minifigure I've had with metallic arms. It looks phenomenal. Now that's the good with this minifigure. Now onto the bad. That hairpiece just does not capture Balin's skull at all. He did not have it come down to the point. It wasn't a center part. It that is just a very inaccurate hairpiece. And the lightsaber color, it's completely wrong. It should have been orange, not red. And it's not like they don't have a piece for that. They have it, been used in many sets, a trans orange piece that they could have used. I don't know why they didn't. And also, they could have included shoulder pads for him or like shoulder armor because it makes him look beefier, more intimidating, which he did in the show. And they could have also included a cape. But eh, it it could have been better. But what we got, it's pretty good. The torso and the legs are really good. I just wish they would have done more with the accessories and the hair especially. But overall, it's a pretty good figure. And lastly, we have the namesake of this set and the best minifigure in this entire set, Shin Hati. And also the main reason I wanted to get this set. Now, she looks really good, same as Balin. Great printing on the torso with the little like apprentice rat's tail that she's got on the side of her chest. And then great printing for the robes and the armor on the torso and the legs. Same on the back. Very similar to Balin, but nice new color and it looks great. And she's also got metallic arms just in a lighter color that also look phenomenal. Now, her hairpiece is much more accurate to the show. It is a very great hairpiece. I don't know if it's unique or not. I've personally never seen it before, but it seems like something that would be included in maybe a Lego City set or something. But it's a very nice hairpiece. And the printing on the face is pretty good. It This one does give me kind of like uncanny valley feelings just a little bit, but that's a very minor nitpick. And perfect for her, we have a dual expression. If I can get that turned around, here we go. Dual expression for when she's in a fight, much angrier expression, works great. My complaints with her are very similar to the ones with Balin. I wish they would have included a cape and had the lightsaber color correct, but Other than those two things, this is a phenomenal minifigure. I absolutely love her. Best minifigure in the entire set, in my opinion. Onto the builds for this set. So first up, we have the Republic E-Wing, or the New Republic E-Wing, rather. And this is a really great build for a Starfighter. I mean, overall, there's just so much detail on this thing. In the front, they got the angle down, similar to how they do with the X-Wings. Got these nice tiles on the side, and I think it looks really nice. The cockpit here is printed, which is nice. The rest of this is stickers. Whoops. The rest of this is all stickers, but I'm glad they printed this because it would have been really obvious if these were stickers because they'd just be peeling off instantly. Inside the cockpit, we have the control panel, and the seat actually lifts up to reveal a hidden compartment for Captain Porter's blaster. This is actually my only problem with the build, is not the storage compartment, but the fact that when you put the pilot in there, he has to lay back in order to fit. Now, this has been happening with a lot of LEGO sets recently, at least that I've seen, is that pilots have to like lay back in their seats. I don't know if it's to save room so that they can have the storage compartments, but as nice as the storage compartment is, I'd prefer if it was left out in exchange for having the pilot be able to sit up, because in the show the pilots don't lay down when they're flying, they sit up so that they can see out of their cockpits, but it won't go down if he's sitting up, so that's a little frustrating. But moving on from that, the wings strike a really nice balance between a tiled and studded look. Have all these little details here, nice stickers, nice little greeblings right here, and on the top and onto the back. It all just looks really nice. Nice use of these like triangular pieces from like the castle sets. Nice use of those. The end of the wing looks good with how it kind of curves down ever so slightly with the blasters there. The engine looks really nice. I mean, this is just, it's so detailed. Even the underside is detailed. You can see all the Technic connections that go into getting just this ever so slight angle on the wings. And it's the same on the other side. And on the inside too, it's even detailed inside of where the astromech droid goes. Like, this build is just overall so extremely detailed. You got the nice landing gear, which I think looks really nice actually. The one in the front kind of tucks up into here, which looks good. And these kind of tuck into the sides here. They don't stick out too much when they're up, so that's really good. And one big praise I have for this set is the stud shooters honestly don't stand out too much. Like, these ones I feel are incorporated pretty well because it kind of meshes with the metallic silver right here and having the metallic silver right there. The only thing that does stand out is having the red stud in there. It kind of clashes with the whites and blues, but other than that, it's not too bad. It doesn't stick out too much. So that's it for the E-Wing. Phenomenal build. Absolutely amazing. And now, moving on from one phenomenal build, we'll move on to another phenomenal build. Because we have Shin Hati Starfighter, and just like the E-Wing, I think this is a great build. Now, what's interesting is that this one it's much flatter, no landing gear on this one. So it just kind of lays down. So two very different builds for Starfighters, but they're both great. Now this one also strikes a good balance between tile and studs, maybe leaning a bit too much into studs, but it's not too bad. Very few stickers on this one, only 4. Now the one of 2 complaints I have about this set, or this build, is that the blasters here, they look good, but there isn't like an actual blaster, it just kind of ends at a brick. I don't know why they didn't include maybe even just a cylinder there to represent it. So that just kind of looks a little weird, but other than that, I like how it's got that like U shape with the slit in it. I think it looks really good. Same on the other side. Well, actually, not entirely the same on the other side, because the cool thing about this build is to show just kind of how beat up it is. It's very asymmetrical. Like, there's roughly the same amount of parts on both sides, but they're just ever so slightly moved, which is a really nice touch. This front engine is really cool, with the tiles on the front coming down. And this circular fan in here, now this is actually inaccurate to the show, because in the show this is like a square vent. But honestly, this is one aspect in which I think LEGO was right to deviate from the show, because this honestly looks better than the actual version in the show, which is really cool. The circular blade just goes so much better with the hexagon look than having just a square vent in there did. So I like that they changed that up. Then moving back here, we have this area right here. Now I think it looks really detailed, the little greeblings. Got these metallic silver ingots, which look really good. The blasters look good. Stud shooters, just like the last one, I don't think stick out too much, and I don't think the green sticks out as much as the red did, because green and yellow are kind of close on the color wheel. But moving on to back here, this pops off, and this is the other, it's not really a complaint, more so, it's just a question. Like, why? So this opens into a storage area, and then the storage area opens into another storage area. Like, why couldn't you just put the blaster in the bigger storage area? It's interesting. It's also hard to get to this one down here. Also interesting, this is a brand new piece, at least from what I've seen. It's a double jumper plate, 2x4 jumper plate. Really interesting piece. Yeah, so I don't know why they made a storage area within a storage area.
Machines making machines. Hopper first.
Then moving to the back here, still got a nice sleek look here. Great use of these like angled slopes back here. The cockpit is pretty good. I wish this were a printed piece. The like control panel there, that's actually a sticker, unfortunately. But that's a minor complaint. It is a very nice, unique sticker piece, which is probably why they made a sticker, because this is an exclusive control panel to this set. Same complaint as the last one. If I take Shin Hati here, kind of set that down. If I take her, again, she has to lay down to fit into the cockpit, which is inaccurate to the show. Once again, they sit up in the cockpit, so I wish they would have just used some of this space down here. Even though it's not open, they probably could have, fit it in there so that she could sit up. But, oh well. That's definitely my biggest complaint with the set, which honestly just shows how good of a set this is if that minor detail is my biggest complaint. Then moving on back here, we have a nice little storage area. Now this is one storage area I don't have a complaint with, because it doesn't take away from the set like it does in some of the battle packs where they just have exposed clips everywhere. This one is hidden very nicely. So nice little storage space for a lightsaber. Continued detailing on the back. This again, these builds are just so nicely detailed and tiled off. Another minor complaint I have with this set is that this piece back here has like no printing or stickers on it. It just feels like a little bland when you come to the back, because there's no like extra details back here. So it just feels a little, like I said, a little more bland than the whole rest of the ship, but that's a very minor complaint. So overall, I think this, just like the E-Wing, is an amazing build. So happy that I got this set. Especially since I was originally just getting this for the minifigures, the build's turning out amazing is a wonderful surprise. Now moving on to the modifications for this set, unlike most of my videos, I'm going to start off with the builds because I have way more modifications for the minifigures than I do for the builds. So starting off with the E-Wing, I actually have the same modification for both builds, and that's removing the stud shooters. I didn't say they were too big of a problem, but just like they're not too big of a problem, they're also not too difficult to replace either. So, I'll kind of turn this on its belly. So you can see how I'm doing. So there's that curved slope there that's covering the back of it. So take that off, and you're only going to need two pieces, a 1x1 plate and a 1x1 cheese slope. So if you take that off and put that on there, then put that curved slope right back where it was, and then cover up that stud with the tile, it looks really nice without that stud shooter. So again, it's not, if I can get both on there, it doesn't stand out too much, but if you want to replace it, it's really easy to do so. And then same thing on Shin Hati's Starfighter. Can grab, for this one you're only going to need one piece. It could honestly just be a number of 1x2 tiles. I chose this metallic graded piece. You can also do this in gray, black, dark gray. You could do just like a full tile instead of the grate. You could do a number of things. So what you're going to do is take off the stud shooter, and then you're going to have this sloped piece right here. Take that off, and then on this black tile, or black plate, you're going to stick your tile of your choosing, and then just cover it back up with the slope. And there. Nice little addition. Again, they weren't too big of a problem, but they're not too difficult of a fix either, so just kind of pick whichever look you think is better. And then moving on to the minifigures, I have fixes for 3 of these minifigures. Now, I don't have a fix for this guy, but if you want to replace him, an excellent candidate would be the astromech from the Republic Cruiser, I believe it was called, or Republic Frigate. The red one back from, oh, I forget what year that came out, but they came with a white and green astromech that is one of my favorite astromechs Lego's put out, maybe even my favorite. And it fits this build so much better. I don't have it on me, unfortunately, but it fits this build so much better, and it's much more accurate to the show. So if you just want to replace this guy, that would be your best pick. But as for modifications, I'm going to start off with Morgan Elsbeth. Now, she didn't come with any weapons, which I think is a shame because she used 2 different weapons throughout the show. So first off, you can give her the blade, if it'll go in her hand. Can give her a sword, any sort of katana. Black might work better, but I couldn't find a black katana piece in my collection for this, but that works nicely to represent the sword that she gets towards the end of the show. And if you want to represent her appearance in The Mandalorian, you can give her a metallic spear piece to represent the Beskar spear. So that can represent her weapon. So you can have one of these two. I personally prefer the spear look. Whoops. So put her back there. Then next, I'm going to modify Shin Hati. First off, one simple addition we can give is a nice brown cape, because I think it just adds to the figure, because they didn't always wear capes, but they did sometimes, so it's just a nice little addition you can make, especially since brown capes are, well, they used to be much more common, but nowadays they aren't so common. But if you have a bunch lying around, you can throw one on there. And then probably the biggest error in this set was the incorrect lightsaber color, so if you just take that off and throw one of these on there. I ordered this part specifically on Bricklink, specifically for this set, and that is a much better version. Accurate lightsaber color, cape looks nice, just a much better Shin Hati figure. And then lastly, we have Balin Skull, and he definitely has the most modifications of any figure in this set. So first off, just like Shin Hati, we're going to throw on a cape, but first I think throwing on some shoulder armor would look great. You can do this in metallic silver or metallic gray, or excuse me, dark metallic gray. I have it in light metallic gray, but if you wanted to do it in dark, that also works. And then on top of that, you throw on a nice black cape and throw back on his head. And that just looks much better already. And then, just like Shin Hati, we can replace that red lightsaber with a much more accurate orange lightsaber. And then one final detail is a much more accurate hairpiece is this one, this like combed over hairpiece, has much more of that side part than he has in the show. And in light gray, this is a bit of a rare piece. I got this from, I believe it was a Vernon Dursley minifigure from Harry Potter. And he was a really cheap minifigure. Sometimes you can find minifigures that have specific parts, and it's actually cheaper to order that than to order the part specifically. So I got that Vernon Dursley minifigure for about $3 when this part alone was going to run me $5, which was strange. But yeah, you can get that much more accurate hairpiece. And then this is just a nice, upgraded, much more accurate Balin Skull minifigure. So yeah, that's all the upgrades I have for this set. Quite a few for the minifigures, not as many for the build. So that's much different than most sets, but that just goes to show how great the build is in this set. So, hope you enjoyed. So, overall, both of these builds are absolutely incredible. This is a great set. I would highly recommend it. The builds are really nice, really well detailed, only minor complaints about them. It would have been nice if we got them released separately, but you can always buy them separately at secondhand stores. The minifigures are great. They did need some modifications, but they were minor modifications, and now that they're there, the minifigures are just excellent. So I would highly recommend this set. I give it a solid 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this set.